Hey guys, hey Toy Pups. I think Toy Pups was here last night. Says hi to Bumblebee. I think Bumblebee was here probably last night. I saw her this morning over at Amanda's. Michael's here. I think Michael was here last night. Hey there, Yogi. Have a good work out, my friend. Thank you. I'm going to be snoring at 2 a.m., so I thought I'd say hello now. Appreciate that, Michael. Ashley says hello, Yogi. I think Ashley was probably here last night. Hi, Jim. Oh, okay. Jim, this is Ashley's husband. Jim, we have not had the pleasure to meet, but it's nice to meet you, my friend. I know I've seen you on her panel. I think you're probably asleep as well, but I'm going to mod you up. I think the only actual person here right now at this time, besides me, is our friend Squirrel Sniper. He says Grand Rising Derek and all. And I think Squirrel Sniper realizes that we are not actually people. We're not actually people, and yet we're peopling. We are more aptly described as verbs and not nouns. A noun would be static, a thing, a place, right? We're not a place, we're not a thing, we're not static, we're motion, we're verbing our way through life in this particular expression, and then guess what? Who knows? We get the verb again, maybe. We'll be continuously verbing. A verb never ends, right? Action. However, we can change the expression of our verbing. We can go from a verb that is confused about its identity to a verb that is constantly and continuously expressing itself as love. But first we have to recognize who we're not. This is why so many paths begin with the path of negation. There's the yoga meditation of neti neti, not this, where anything that occurs to us, when we ask ourselves through self-inquiry, who am I? And anything that occurs, we have to dismiss, neti neti, not this, because how can we be any one thing exclusively? We always think we arrive at this answer only when we look in with further self-inquiry do we have to let it go, until we come up with that great cosmic shrug of, I don't know who I am. Not only that, I don't need to know who I am. I just need to be. And I don't even need to do that because that happens on its own. Simple says we call out to each other when we can connect our vibrant emotions. Always wise words from our friend Squirrel Sniper. So I'm going to bring up Course in Miracles. I'm going to bring up the workbook. I'm going to bring up lesson 155. We'll see how long we talk for this morning. I'm shooting for about 20 minutes. I'm going to do a longer walk. Hey, White Lion. Do you like Imagine Dragons? Are you saying, do I like to imagine dragons? Do I like imaginary dragons? Or is there like something like a book or a movie or something that I'm not familiar with that's called Imagine Dragons? Let's just say this. I like dragons. My stepdaughter, ever since she was a little girl, absolutely loved dragons. That was her thing. For her, they weren't really imaginary. I think still, even though she's in her 30s, I think that she is still has a firm belief in dragons. I actually really can't read what you wrote. So you should imagine dragon. Let's see. Deer? Does that say deer? Let's see. I always imagine I'm a disappointment to people who come in and troll. Because in order to truly troll, there's got to be some sort of like understanding between two people. There has to be someone who's willing to accept to be trolled, and there has to be that which comes in and gives himself the identity as a troll. But if you don't accept either, if you just accept people coming in for what they believe, I'd rather talk to White Lion about dragons than his comment. And it's entirely up to White Lion, however he wishes to be perceived. Sniper says, greetings, White Lion. I imagine a phoenix, not dragons. It's a reset after reset, just like it's rebirth. Nice. Ashley says, that's my husband, Jim. I think had White Lion worded it differently at the very beginning, it might have been funnier. But we always give people another chance to be funny. And original. That's the hard part. Man, the internet is so vast, so wide, that to come into a live stream and be original, that's true talent, you know? Can you say one thing that we've never heard before? Probably not, but we always give everyone the opportunity. So, hey, Dill. Dill says, hi, brother. What's up, Dill? We're going to go to lesson 155 of the Course of Miracles. 155 really helps me to remind me that the path is one of recommitment over and over again. Let's see. Squirrel says, imagine stepping up and being liked, White Lion. Yeah, and you know, it's so easy. It's so easy, especially here, because we never hold anyone to their past comments. Everyone has a fresh opportunity to present themselves and who they truly are at any moment. So lesson 155 is, I will step back and let him, capital H-I-H-I-M, lead the way. And it begins very beautifully. There is a way of living in the world that is not here, although it seems to be. You do not change appearance, although you smile more frequently. Your forehead is serene, your eyes quiet. And the ones who walk the world as you do recognize their own. Yet those who have not yet perceived the way will recognize you also and believe that you are like them as you were before, but you're not. Sniper says, greetings to King Dale Clark. Paragraph 2, the world is an illusion. Those who choose to come to it are seeking for a place where they can be illusions and avoid their own reality. Yet when they find their own reality even here, they step back and let it lead the way. What other choice is there really theirs to make? To let illusions walk ahead of truth is madness. But to let illusions sink behind the truth and let the truth stand forth as what it is merely sanity. So here's the thing. We know reality, we know the truth, we get a glimpse of it, and yet we still find ourselves falling back into the world of illusions and very persistent. Einstein said, time and space are illusions, albeit persistent ones. And they are. We're always dragged back into the illusory world. Someone is always willing to step up and give us a shove, give us a push, or give us a pull right back into the illusions, right back into guilt, right back into resentment, right back into all the little things, all the pettiness, mundane existence. However, once you know, once you even get a glimpse of reality, there's no fully stepping back in. There's no allowing yourself to get 100% immersed back into the tidal wave of all that pettiness. But it can happen, and it can happen, for what seems a longer period of time. Every so often, even though I've been reading through A Course in Miracles for um, half my life, literally half my life, over half my life, that I need that reminder from the past. And today it was lesson 155. I will step back and let him lead the way. And I love that beginning. There's a way of living in the world that is not here, although it seems to be. You do not change appearance, though you smile more frequently. Your forehead is serene, your eyes quiet. And the ones who walk the world as you do recognize their own. So that is the path of surrender. Quietly and consistently surrendering to the will of God. The will of God is your will as well. There's just one will, because everything else is an illusion. However, we can, as long as we're willing, as long as we want, we can keep believing in the illusion. We can keep giving our life to the illusion, which just keeps us immersed in the illusion, which is fear. Let's see. Bill says, Eric, what do you think of the will as Schopenhauer called it? The will was the first thing, if you like, which was apparent in every organic and even inorganic body, I believe. His belief was that this will was insatiable and never satisfied, and the will of a human being was the same necessary as he was a stone falling towards the earth. I think he was seeing the world through the illusion. He was seeing the world through his perception, that he occasionally caught a glimpse of what lies beyond perception, but he was unable to bring that into fruition. That, as with every philosophy, it's limited. And sooner or later, you got to let go of all the philosophies and just live your life. Live your life beyond the philosophy. Go back to that neti that we talked about at the very beginning of the live stream. Not this, not this. Until eventually you just sigh. That great cosmic shrug. Hey, Tandra. Tanya says, good morning, Fluffy. Yes, I'm in full fluffiness this morning. Jay says, good morning, Mushy. None of that. Jace says, waving at squirrel. Tanya says, hi to Jace. Jace says, hi to Tandra. Semper says, world might seem as real by burns, but what if it's just a projection, a sophisticated play of lights and shadows designed by our consciousness, just as shadows need lights to exist? I think even a little glimpse of reality, when our thoughts grow still. It's a whole thing with yoga. Remember the second line of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras says yoga is experienced by the mind that is quiet and unmoved by the vacillating thoughts, vacillating perceptions. Perceptions are always changing, always shifting, and yet reality lies still. Hey, Jamie. Jamie, how are you? Jace waves it still. She says, Eric, good morning, brother. Good morning, Jace. How you doing, Jamie? Semper says, our perception of reality needs consciousness. Yeah, sometimes can be some confusing with terms. In most non-duality circles, Consciousness is the bottom line of reality itself. Although Nisargata takes it a step farther and says beyond consciousness, there is the awareness of the absolute, Brahma itself. I love the term Brahma, unencumbered by all the terms that we've given God. And Course in Miracles goes full pure non-duality, that even consciousness is the first emergence of the illusion. It's a great place to progress towards, but eventually we let it go too. And that's when we fully emerge back into the reality of oneness, the reality of God, the reality of love. Beginning at the very beginning of the introduction, only love is real, nothing unreal exists. Only love is real. Hey, Miss Flipper. Miss Flipper says, good morning. Dill says, I guess it's a bit arrogant, adjacent for a self as great as Schopenhauer. You think one can have the answers of the universe when it doesn't provide any answers, not need them, nor need them. Yeah, every answer that we have is just temporary. Every answer that we have belongs to the perceptory mind that is perceiving it. But perceptions are always shifting, so they can never actually be real in and of themselves. It's like every wave believing itself as the perceiver of the ocean as it looks around and sees other waves. It says, oh, so the ocean is made only of waves, waves upon waves upon waves, waves all the way down. And yet what happens when the ocean lies still? The very depth, at the very bottom of the ocean, where not a single wave is even able to be perceived. The path of yoga takes us all the way down. And then even at the depth of the ocean, there's that final letting go. That's why A Course in Miracles says, God takes the final step. Our job is to keep seeing past the perception, to keep letting each wave settle, each wave settle, each wave settle. This is why it's always interesting to read philosophy, but in the end, it gets, for me, it's just one more thing to eventually let go of. Jamie says, I'm okay, thanks. How are you? Doing pretty good, Jamie. I'm looking forward to my walk. It's going to be my first walk of the day. It's going to be 71, 72 degrees. I'm looking forward to seeing what can I catch emerging from a long winter. Phil says, Eric, what do you think about Scylla Bob Adamson once saying, there's nothing outside of consciousness? It comes down to semantics, right? Because even towards the end of his life, Nisargadatta, who was the final teacher of Scylla Bob, said, past consciousness, you come to pure awareness. Past consciousness, you come to Brahma, the absolute. And there's no understanding the absolute because the absolute is just the absolute. But I get tired of all the labels. I get tired of all the, this teacher says consciousness is this teacher says awareness is this teacher says Brahma is this. So for me, it's why I just come down to kindness and forgiveness. Anything outside of kindness and forgiveness, entertainment, but it's not Brahma. It's not the absolute. Let's see. Dale says, I'm reading a book by Angelus Silius. It's poems. You mentioned that a little while ago. I think you liked them. Yep, you gave us some of the poems. Really nice. Even though you don't need it, as you said, I think you found your calling in A Course in Miracles. But the poems be a reminder, if you like. Yep, you gave us some of the poems. They're pretty cool. Here's the thing. In the end, even A Course in Miracles is let go of. And even A Course in Miracles says, let go of the Course in Miracles. Just be kind. Just practice forgiveness. Everything takes care of itself. In the end, there is no you to do the letting go. Everything's just let go. In the end, there's only Brahma. And you just are that. You are that. That's the same conclusion that Nisargadatta Maharaj came to. If I am that, what do I have to do? Consciousness, awareness, kindness, forgiveness. In the end, I am that. But until the end, I practice forgiveness. You know why? Makes me feel good. I practice kindness. Do you know why? It makes me feel good. And it also helps me see past the I that feels good. Thank you, Beth. Beth Bits and Pieces says, just drop a like. Have a great day. Just so much love. On my way to see hubby at the hospital. How is your husband, Beth? Send in prayers, my friend. Hey, Long John. Morning, Yogi. Good morning. Yes, Tim Klitz said you can't understand the absolute. It can't really be understood as a thing. As well, you can't understand because there is no you. You are the absolute. Miss Pippa says, bye to Beth in Pieces. Hey, Jennifer. Jennifer, how are you? Dale says, you're right, Eric. Dare I say, I know you do yoga. Maybe for the other reasons, but in terms of attaining some enlightenment, Maharaj said it wasn't needed. Nothing's needed. Nothing is needed to attain that which you are. If we just read the title of I am that, and for whatever reason we got it, that would be all we needed, was just the title, I am that. Because my mind still thinks, because there is still perception. Yoga helps and breathwork helps still the mind, so I see past perception, so I can recognize that the ego never forgives. The ego just bargains. So practicing yoga helps me forgive, helps me be kind, because it makes my mind very quiet, very still. And I recognize that vacillating wave of egoic perception, and I'm able to let it go through the practice of kindness. Bill says, but I understand it, you don't do it to obviously become enlightened. No, it just feels good. Hey, Stars, Soul of Stars. Grand Risings, Dolly sent me your way. Awesome. Hey, big thanks to Dolly. How are you, Soul Stars? Beth says he's having some complications at the moment, but he will get there. Thank you, Eric. You're welcome. Hey, Beth, sending out a prayer, sending out, ring another bell, healing for love, for your husband, and for you, my friend, and for you. Longshan says, do you have any experience with psychedelics? Do you believe people can make breakthroughs using psychedelics? John Hopkins currently doing psilocybin studies for PTSD. Yes, I have, and I do. I can't talk about it much because we get flagged on YouTube. I haven't been flagged. I don't want to get flagged. I wish I could talk about it more, because the answer is yes, yes, and yes. Although in the end, it's not needed. but it's very helpful. Isn't it amazing you can't talk about things that are being studied in Johns Hopkins? Jennifer says, I'm not going to be able to join your next live today. I'm going to be busy the whole day doing the tags on a new car and a lot of other stuff. Just to let you know. Well, thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate you letting me know. I hope it's an easy day. I hope there's no complication to getting everything in order for your car. Beth says, thank you, Eric. That means a lot to us. Bless you. You're welcome, my friend. Long John says, be kind indeed. Absolutely. Bill says, Eric, I have noticed in the last, these spiritual YouTube gurus, if you like talk about enlightenment and they talk about these amazing sort of transformation stories, and to me, it's a bit like they are trying to make it sound or fantastical, or it seems higher than others, you know, to look better than others. Maybe some are genuine, but I get the sense with a lot, they're just lying to themselves. Yeah, in the end, we're all sort of lying to ourselves. This is why you see even a lot of non-duality teachers sort of come to their senses. You know, I love the Zen saying, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Or as the Scottish singer Donovan sang, first there's a mountain, then no mountain, then there is. Be kind indeed. Wonderful message, Long John. Soulstar says, doing well, considering the stone soup of exhaustion and excitement for timeline shifts and acceleration. I'm glad that you are making the best of it, my friend. Dill says, to make it sound, oops, I read that, sorry. That's the blue and the mushroom, Eric, the Sullivan, and the blue meanies in the Beatles album. Ah, the blue meanies. When I was a kid, I loved the Yellow Submarine. When I was a teenager, I loved the Yellow Submarine, the movie, for an entirely different reason. Typer says, Long John Sylvia was what showed me more than what it is. Miss Flipper says, Dill, I hear you. I don't think enlightenment people need to say I am enlightened. Enlightenment is fully capable of speaking for itself, i.e. self-evident. What I find is, and not to, Sniper says, Eric, what color is the Yellow Submarine? I recall yellow, but I know Sniper's onto something. What I find is people who come to an understanding and awakening, and I love how Robert Saltzman says awakening never ends. So no one says I am awakened. It's always I am awakening. So there's no final absolute, oh, it's this and only this. I am awakened. I am awakening. But what you find is people who awaken in from one particular teacher, they take on the mannerisms and the speech patterns of that teacher. Those who get an awakening from a Tony Parsons talk remarkably like Tony Parsons. Those who get an awakening experience from Rupert Spear talk remarkably like. Miss Flipper says it wasn't a submarine. What was it, Miss Flipper? Jennifer says it's actually 5:30 a.m. for me. I got to leave the house at 8:15, so yeah. Well, Jennifer, I really appreciate you spending some time here with us. Miss Whip says, oh, it wasn't a submarine. Semper says, indeed, Miss Flipper, as it never was depicted as gone underwater. Hello there, Amanda. I've had you up and running this morning. I see that your video, I just clicked over, I see that your video has ended, or your live stream has ended. So you've been running on my end. I had you up, watch hours, for a good 45 minutes or so. Zipper says, it's mainly orange, then yellow. Done with my live. How was the live? Amanda says, thank you, Yogi. You're welcome. Tanya says, hey, Amanda. Miss Whipper says, hi, amazing Amanda. Amanda is awesome. Good. Amanda says, yeah, I'm always happy to talk with y'all. Eric, as well, I feel safe here. Well, I'm glad, Amanda. I think the right people show up. You know, the right people show up and they extend that feeling of peace and safety towards others. I'm glad we can do that for you, Jennifer. Super says, Grand Risings, Amanda. Hello, Amanda. Super says, Amanda. Miss Whipper says, I like refrain when the orchestra plays in that song. It's been a long time since I listened to it. But I absolutely love the Beatles. Beatles are the soundtrack of my entire life. I will always return to the Beatles. The Beatles, the Grateful Dead. The past few years, it's been mainly me listening to jazz, classical music, as well as old-time country. Old-time country. Phil says, Eric, what are your thoughts on people who engage in self-mortification to again achieve what they say is enlightenment? And could you say David Goggins maybe in some way doing what they do? People that believe extremely pain is the way. I would say they never even question what the way is. You don't have to look any further than the Buddha. He practiced that. I believe it. I could be wrong. I believe it was 8 years of practicing extremism. I think they said he existed on a grain of rice and water. Until he realized, I don't need that. It's only when he took a glass of milk, accepted a glass of milk from a maiden, and he got his strength back, that he decided to sit under the Buddha tree and meditate until he attained enlightenment. So it was when he surrendered all that other stuff, that he finally awakened. Amanda says, Yogi, my cat got a miracle. Awesome. He is doing better. His breathing will still not be 100%, but he's alive. That's awesome. Awesome. Amanda, for your kitty, and for you, because you stayed by his side. Hey, Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash says, what's up? What's up, Johnny Cash? Jennifer says, welcome in, Johnny Cash. Hey, Sandy. Sandy says, I'm sorry I haven't been on in a couple of days. My dad just passed away yesterday. Oh, Sandy, I'm so sorry, my friend. Prayers to you. Never any need to apologize here, Sandy. Much love, my friend. Zipper says, sounds like the practice of Saint Jose Marie, and I can't pronounce the rest. Escriva, maybe I can't pronounce the rest. Escriva, you never know until you try. It's okay to mispronounce things. Jennifer says, welcome in, Sandy Owens. Amanda says, Jennifer, you're young. Amanda says, thank you, Yogi. Your healing bell works. I'd like to think that we send out intent with the bell so that, it helps us heal. Miss Pippa says, I'll be 64. So you can sing one of 64 on my birthday instead of happy birthday, if you like. How soon is your birthday? I might need to practice for a bit. Tandra says, Sandy's so sorry. Yes. Thank you, Tandra. Sandy, we are all sending you prayers, holding you close right now. Amanda says, Tandra, did you say you liked my scary lives the other day? Phil says, I've heard an Indian yogi raising his arms up for many years in self-mortification. I think he's still doing it now. His muscles, his arms atrophied. But it's none of it's needed, Phil. Johnny says, I'd be 71. Again, on September 12th, 2079, when I pass away again, but it will be of old age. That's the way to do it. Tanya says, Amanda, yeah, you would make a great actress. Nice. Miss Rippa says, Sandy Owens, condolences. Hey, Leonard. Hello there, Eric in the chat. Hello there, people in the chat. Good morning, Eric. Good morning. Amanda says, I figured you was pissed when you found out I was playing everyone. Who was upset? Zephyr says he was a priest that encouraged penance. Gotcha. Tanya says, Amanda, no, never. Sandy says, I'll be back in a minute. My mom's calling. Soul says, listening to you, I instantly felt a nudge to continue doing the inner work and continue to hold self accountable for transcending and tempering the ego. Nice, Soul Star. Here's my own experience, and it aligns with what our friend Dale was alluding to above. I've practiced some pretty extreme practices in the past. I did some self-punishing. A lot of my workouts were geared in that direction. I had I trained for, it was only on after 3 failed attempts of running 100 miles, it was only on my 4th that I finally finished it when I was an ultra runner. And I only finished that when I was completely miserable at mile 40, almost hypothermic. And I realized I didn't even have to try anymore. I just had to surrender. I just had to let go. And I started laughing. It was freezing rain, and the freezing rain started coming down in crystals. Everything sparkled. Everything was beautiful. And I knew at mile 40, as miserable as I was going to finish the race, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter. What mattered was that I was just smiling and I was just laughing. A lot of things changed in that moment. So here's our inner work. The ego will never forgive. The ego will never be kind. The ego will always bargain for its self-worth. I will forgive you when I think you deserve it. I will forgive you when I'm ready to forgive. I will forgive you when I think you've suffered enough. Or when whatever. There's always a whatever. Or I won't forgive you. You don't deserve it. You don't feel bad enough for me to forgive you. Or I don't feel good enough yet. Always with the ego. So when we forgive, we are learning to smile at the ego and saying, guess what? Even if I don't want to forgive, forgiveness has already happened because this present moment holds no single trace of the past. This is why we can say that forgiveness is simply letting go of all hope of a better past. All we got to do is learn to smile at the ego. The best way of smiling at the ego is being kind to someone, is forgiving, is staying in the present moment. Even when the mind wanders, we realize, guess what? It never wanders away from the present moment. Hey, Easy. Hey, Leo. Leo says, you look like Santa Claus if nobody left him milk and cookies. Guys, this is the way, if you're going to be funny, that's the way to do it. Way to go, Leo. Long John says, I was only 14 when given 7 grams. No, that's a lot. Drugs are given to me truly wanted me to wig out at school. Well, but it didn't happen and it changed me for the better. Hashtag reset. We get a disclaimer from Amanda. You look like you weigh -pounds. I'm bigger than I look, Leo. I'm bigger than I look. Amanda says, I had to say this because I see new, very young people here, Yogi. Yep, Jennifer's not new. Jennifer's been here for a while. Jennifer's been a really, really good friend. Sandy is back. Sandy, once again, my friend, sending you love. Rosie said hi. Thank you, Rosie. Simple says, Leo, Nanny is on the way with a fresh diaper. Hold tight, buddy. Long John says, Rocky Raccoon had an ego, didn't serve him well. Man, I'd love that. You guys throwing the Beatle references tied to enlightenment. Well said, Long John. That was awesome. Easy says, enjoy your morning, Eric. Thank you. Jennifer says, welcome in Long and welcome in Easy. Jennifer is one of the ultimate moderators. Leo says, Leo, try not to bounce up and down. Rosie says, I think it wasn't a good idea to take the medicine, Amanda. It's making me sleepy, more than I already was. Can you rest for a while, Rosie? Long John says, anyone reading this, don't experiment with anything unless your brain is fully developed. Could very well trigger psychosis or worse. Thank you, Long John. Amanda says, I needed to say hi, and yes, Yogi was watching today. Yep. Hey, Sab. Sab, how are you? Johnny Cash says, I would maybe sitting in my chair in my real-world house from my past life in Casita Spring, California, and be listening to my past life songs when I pass away again at age 71. 71's pretty young, though. Breezy says, hi, Jennifer. Easy says, I think I made a mistake buying a bass. I think I'll get a guitar next. I don't know. I've come to love the bass. And I've come to love that, you know what? Paul McCartney might really be the ultimate bass player. Rosie says, he was Amanda. Oops. Amanda says, good night, Yogi. Big kisses. Thank you. Long John says, sniper, exactly. Easy says, man, I don't make Yogi blush. Me blush. Leo says, you're so right, even hitter. Said too pure. That one, you lost me. Don't know what a hitter is. When it says, easy, I'm going to make him blush. It's my favorite part. And I'll never stop. Johnny Cash says, I will never be in a hospital when I passed away again. How about sitting on a porch, watching the sun come up? Or go down? Rosie says, I'm about to sleep in less than a minute. Love you, Yogi. Love you too, Rosie. All right. With that, guys, I'm going to go make some oatmeal. We're going to let Rosie get some sleep. I'm going to eat, and I'm going to go out and take my walk. Jennifer says, I got to start getting ready to go at 7 a.m., so very soon. Hey, I hope it's an easy day for you. Rosie says, bye, everyone. Bye, Rosie. Amanda says, love you all and everyone. Never stop loving everyone. Thank you. Rosie says, much love. Tandra says, bye, Yogi and all. Bye, Tandra. Sab says, take care, Yogi. Much loves. Have a great day, people. You too, Sab. Appreciate you coming in. Long John says, a hitter could be a good song. Yep. Or it could be a baseball player, right? Or a good brand, or good anything. For example, Yogi's Breath. Work this morning was a hitter. Awesome. I like that. Jennifer says, bye, everyone. Love you all. Love you too, Jennifer. Hey, guys, prayers to Sandy. Well, Easy says, I will send you my bass, Eric, free of charge. It would be pretty awesome to play the bass. We got some peace from Long John. Thank you, guys. All right. I'm going to see everyone later today. If you're around, I'll be live again at 1 o'clock. Thanks for hanging out. Take care, guys.